southern China for a while, or?
Yeah, definitely different from southern China. Yeah, I lived in the Nanshe industrial zone, so it says it all in the name right there. I started like working at like the top snowboard company, possibly in North America, certainly building here, Option Snowboards. Grant Wellington had started it back with, in the days when Jake Burton was just getting started, and it was so amazing being in a manufacturing environment that was right here in Vancouver. But it really gave me a false perception of what manufacturing was really about. And then I got hired to manage price point brands, and I was doing their domestic and international sales. And as soon as I arrived to the company, they're like, "We need you to go to China." I was like, well, "Okay," and I sort of got lumped into this production management role, which, looking back on in hindsight, was a great opportunity, and I learned a lot from it, and I certainly carry a lot of that forward to today in what we do, and knowing and understanding kind of the macro of the business and production. But wow, it was such an eye-opening and awakening experience. The standards over there were so different. There were basically no health and safety protocols. We were trying to make the cheapest product possible to sell to Costco and Toys R Us and these these big box stores that just wanted it for cheaper, and like, you got to include the bindings, you got to include the boots at that price, and you'll take 100% of them back if they don't sell. And it's a terrible business model for what I feel almost everybody involved. Now I know Costco and Walmart and some of those guys have gotten more and more responsible over time. And that's good to see. I don't work with them and haven't worked with them in a really long time, so I don't know exactly what their policies and procedures and standards are. But it was very interesting at the time, and yet at the same time, I was asked to go in and look at manufacturing and one angle of manufacturing, and I said, "Hey, I want to go in and make sure that you guys are being responsible." And I didn't even really know at that time everything that fell into place in the social compliancy audit, but there were certain things that it was quite obvious. You can't be working that room with that like screaming, grinding noise all day without ear protection, or you can't. It felt like that. Workplace BC video, which is I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's amazing. It's like these guys are like toxic chemicals coming out and like flying sparks, and they're like, "Yeah, oh my God, it's so unsafe, this stuff we're doing on the weekend." And you're like, wow, it's unbelievable. And you see a bit of those sorts of environments. And I went to the owner to the factory, and I said, "You've got to provide eyewear. You've got to provide ear protection. You need all of this stuff, or I need to pull this business." And of course my boss was like, "You're not pulling the business. This is not your decision, and this is the best price point we've found anywhere." And I was like, "Yeah, it's quite clear why that is the best price point." And funnily enough, the owner from the manufacturing side said, they have all that stuff. And he brought me to a cupboard, and there was all of the eyewear and all of the ear protection. He said, no one wears it. They don't want to wear it. And that made me think, wow, part of this is education. Part of this is regulation. None of those things are in place, and it made me think I'm just scratching at the surface of a much larger field of vision in terms of expertise, and that's something that I was interested in growing, and it's something that when I left that company, which was pretty shortly thereafterwards, I wanted to bring to the next company that I was working in, and it's something that together we grew, and I, out of my own interest, learned more and more about, and now it's a fundamental part of what we do as ethical profiling.